Hey, we did.
Did it work?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Technology, we love it.
You
Good to see
know.
you, Chase.
Yeah, thanks. Nice to see you.
The I want to get it to be very efficient your time, and because we know the algorithms to say something in about 7 seconds,
Yeah, totally.
which you're here. Um,
Yeah. Ready, set, go.
Ready, set, go. All right, so we're going to start off with who are you? You do.
I'm Chase Jackson, and I'm a shot putter.
So first, if I say Chase E, please don't get up.
I won't. My husband will.
I've been correcting myself in my head for like 48 hours. So.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
So one of the things that I want to know, it seemed to me from the outside looking in, once you made the move to the UK, something clicked. You became like this shot putter. What happened?
Yeah, I think the way I think it happened is, after like being in Arizona and when I got sick and was sick for a long time and wasn't able to train and stuff, I just think there was a lot of negativity in my head being there and being in that group, not because they were negative, just because of my experience. And so then I think when I moved and it was kind of fresh and new and I met Paul and it was a different perspective. So everything just was kind of like new. And I think it's like basically I was able to like restart almost. So like I think a lot of it was it had less to do with like the technique or the training at first. I think at first the biggest thing was just change and fresh start kind of thing.
But that's like a big fresh start, isn't it? I mean, that had to be a big move, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot. Like being away from my family and stuff for like the past 3 years, as much as I have been with traveling, has been hard. But you make it work. I try and see them as much as possible.
I know great athletes like yourself don't like to brag, but I want you to do the bragging for yourself. Give me the rundown, and I want it in order of importance to you. Tell us kind of what you've won in the world of shot put and kind of, yeah, just give it to us in rank order because I could do it, but I want to hear it from you.
Right, rank for me.
Yeah.
Um, that's pretty easy and hard at the same time. I would say probably my Budapest world title because the season leading into that was kind of hard and being able to kind of work for 4 weeks and come out on top was good. And then Eugene world title after that. Glasgow because getting a bronze medal after getting injured the night before, I was really proud of myself for being able to go out there. Then probably my Belgrade, that was my first like international medal, so that was good. Another my indoor silver. And then I think my two diamonds from winning the Diamond League final, which is, I think a lot of people on the outside of track and field will understand like how big those are for us, but pretty big. You're pretty much competing against, the final of any major at those meets. And then I think probably all my six U.S. titles, seven, my U.S. titles,
Isn't it? I think it's 7.
and my American record.
Yeah. So there's a lot of hardware. So
Yeah.
here's the one thing that I want to like let people know, and I'm obsessed with this about kind of how our point of view on you athletes, as world's greatest. So by the way, I didn't even do an intro. I am Bob Siosik. I'm founder of World's Greatest. To everybody who's watching, um, you know, uh, imagine being the literal best in the world at anything, and it's undisputable, right?
Yeah.
The ring is the same size it's been. The ball is the same weight. It's made of steel. Like you have the steel tape. Nothing's
Yeah.
changed in this sport for a long time. To imagine that whether you're an accountant or a dog walker or whatever, and you're like, I'm the best in the world.
Yeah.
That's what you guys are. This is what you've done. So I think the appreciation of what you've done, fans who are just coming into it need to understand. I think shot put fans really understand it.
Yeah.
By the way, we have a secret sauce of how we identify great talent, and shot put fans, we've quantified this with the research tool we have. Shot put fans are the number one fans of every other Olympic sport,
I,
which
I
which
can
is
see that.
you can see that, right?
Yeah.
Your fans are like rabid fans.
Yeah,
We're just sports junkies.
yeah, that's true. I think like with certain events that are like a bit more niche and like, you know, you kind of are dedicated to it a little harder when you're a fan, and so I think like that's why I try and like stay engaged and stuff because like really appreciate like fans of the sport. I love people who are fans of shot put and me.
It's such a good. So we started a little controversy. We didn't intend to, but we started
Yeah.
with Ryan Krauser, and it really came from Boogie Johnson. We did an interview with Boogie a few years ago about how good Ryan is, and basically
Hmm.
he kind of but Boogie. He's got the voice, he's got the insight, he knows how to, he's got the turn of phrase, but
Yeah.
he's like, you line up Usain Bolt and Ryan Krauser in the 3-point stance. And my money is on Ryan Krauser in those first 15 to 20 meters.
Hmm.
So part of me, and I know you're a big fan of the 100-meter, part of me wants to make that comparison to you and Noah.
Yeah. Don't tell him that because then he's gonna have to race me. He'll be in my DMs being like, "So you want to race?" You can't say that. He'll come
The,
for me.
exactly. All right, so I want to do another twist though. This is one that we do a lot, and I'm going to put you on the clock for because normally you're not. I mean, you are on the clock, but not the same way. I got my stopwatch out. I'm resetting. So I want to hear your life story in 60 seconds.
My life story.
Ready,
Ready?
set, go.
Born. um, then I had an older sister. She was into sports. I started playing sports when I was 4. It's kind of been a huge part of my life ever since. Just me, mom, and my sister, going to different events. Played soccer. Then I went to high school and realized that I didn't like softball because they made me play softball instead of baseball. So I switched to track and field. And I found out I was really fast. And I got pretty good grades. I was a good kid, never broke the rules, never in trouble. Um, and then I found shot put, and I thought it was fun. My senior year of high school, I started getting recruited for a lot of sports, but for some reason, I decided throwing was the route. Went to Oklahoma State. Um, was there for multiple years and got a coach change my senior year and started throwing far. Then I graduated and on a whim moved to Arizona and started training there. And then from there, I needed another change and moved to the UK. And I met a new coach, met a bunch of friends, met some guy from the Midlands, got married, won a couple titles, won some things. And then I went to Olympic trials and made the Olympic team. And now I'm in Paris ready to, compete at the Olympics. How'd I do?
You're the first athlete in the history of our company, and we've asked this question to hundreds of athletes. You're the first one who's gone a minute 40. And I love it though, because normally when we do that, we're editing that down. So you already gave me tons of insight and information.
I
The,
tried. I thought like I did good. I didn't realize it went that long.
I mean, your hook in the beginning, born. I mean, come on,
Born. I
that
mean,
was a
that's
good
part of it,
start.
isn't it?
That was a good
You said
start.
life story. That's part of it. Born.
Exactly. You're normally people, the athletes normally just do like all sports stuff, and they don't even mention like a mom or a sister.
Yeah. No, I think it is important though. Like I think a lot of people when they've come to this level, sports has been part of their life so long. So I can see that because like for me, I it all started like I was 4. I started playing t-ball, and then it was just I loved it. And my parents were really sporty, and my mom's like a little bit of like a stage mom, like you want to do sports, she was a single mom, so she she was like anything to any after school activity that can help me get some time to come pick you up. But it turns out like me and my sister were kind of the same. I just fell in love. I loved it. I love sport, and I think it taught me a lot of like what I've carried into my personal life too. Like it taught me discipline and respect and all kinds of stuff.
That is so cool. I mean, I think Chase. One of the things I love about you is you love to laugh.
Yeah.
You kind of love to shit around. I
Yeah,
mean,
totally.
when we met, it was in Orange County at the event. I forget which one that was,
Don't
it
ask me.
was you and Ponzio and Big Homie, and you know, it
That sounds
was
right.
just most of it is not for family consumption,
No.
but for adults, it was hilarious. I'm just like, oh my god, this is this is the funniest woman I've ever met. So
Yeah.
the we'll have another version of this show that'll be the after hour.
Yeah. Totally.
So one of the things I ask this question a lot, and I I'll just ask it. I won't characterize. What does it take to be the greatest?
Oof. I think the biggest thing it takes is sacrifice. I think everybody I know at a certain level has sacrificed quite a lot. Like, I'm happy where I'm at, but like I can say it was easy. It's easy being 3,000 miles away from my family, and I miss weddings, I miss birthdays, I miss funerals, I miss everything, and I have since I became pro and even since college. So I just, you don't get this far and you don't get without sacrifice. I think every person standing in Paris right now calling themselves an Olympian has sacrificed a lot.
That's I think that's so perfect, right?
Yeah.
Because you're it is you're and we'll have some athletes who are 19, 20, 21 years old, right, who are basically like no parties. This is
Nope.
everything's cut out because you know what, sleep is part of the game. you know
Yep.
we're we're gonna lose all of our potential supplement sponsors, but Henry Wynn, the 1500 meter runner, was on the show with me yesterday, and he's like, all my friends ask me like, what supplements should I be taking? He's like, dude, when you're an elite athlete, those might help you a little bit. Like when you're just sleep 30 minutes more.
Yeah. I think it's huge too. I've never taken any supplements up to this point. Um, I've just been a big like rest and sleep kind of person. But as I'm getting older though, now I finally got a supplement sponsor because I was talking to my husband and I'm like, I got to start working on like the protein and the this and that because like I'm 30 now, the muscles ain't muscling, are they? So so I'm working with a company now, and yeah, I think sleep is huge.
Let's give the shout out to him. Who is it?
Yeah, I didn't know if that was allowed. Podium. I started working with a company called Podium.
That's amazing. Well,
Um,
Chase, we are looking for a new sponsor for the live stream. So
yeah, there we
we
go.
don't know. It could be Podium. We don't know.
Yeah, could be.
We're just saying.
But
If
yeah,
I say the
so
word podium enough, it might be
yeah, say it a lot. I'm like, hey, I'm good at getting on podiums. You want to sponsor me? It goes.
perfect.
But yeah, sleep. And now that I'm old, soon to be supplementing for that. But I've
You
never
know,
taken them up until this point in my career just because.
well, that's a testament to
But I'll sleep 13
Podium.
hours.
Oh
I
well,
will.
the I mean, what you do, you're going to need that sleep, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we did an embedded series with the Brooks Beast team, mid distance runners, and basically, like, we have so much footage of them laying on couches. Like, I
It's
just
like, well, even here at the HPC, you go in and it's just athletes asleep, like most random, everyone's on a chair just out. Like, it's just, it's compete or train and then sleep and then wake up and eat and maybe train again, just hang out and then sleep again in the next couple hours.
so we asked this one question, Chase. This show used to be called "What Were You Thinking?" and I love that. I wanted to get "World's Greatest" into the name of the show, so I changed the name. But
Yeah.
I like the question though. What were you thinking when? But normally I ask it and I ask like specific, but I actually want to turn it over to you. I want you to give us a what were you thinking in a moment that nobody really knows about and share that with us. So it could be when you first made the move. I'll give you thought starters. When you first made the move to the UK and you realized it clicked. It could be when you were a kid and you chose shot put and you're like, wow, this is for me. But I'll stop because you're a creative person. You have lots of ideas.
I think, yeah, a good one would be like what was I thinking when I first got to the UK? Because like it wasn't that wasn't why I went there. I went for a training camp. But then after, like being in the UK and being where I was and meeting people, I just kind of started thinking like, oh, I'm really happy. And then I was like, I feel like that's the thing I lost is being happy. And so I think that was kind of the flip that switched is when I started thinking like I wasn't throwing far or anything. I wasn't doing anything that would make me go like, ooh, this is gonna make me be really successful in shot put. I just felt happy. And I immediately was like, I like it. I like being happy. And
The, I mean, you're hitting on something that's huge. Shari Hawkins and I had a really interesting interview. She's a heptathlete, for anyone who doesn't know Shari, and 33 years old, and she made her first Olympic team, and but we had kind of these deep conversations on this power of thought and the power of feeling. And I think that's kind of amazing, right? The power of happiness,
yeah,
right? I feel
I
like your
think,
emotions kind of tell you where to go, right? I mean,
yeah, I think like people often like forget that like you need to like be happy like in your day to day in order to be successful in really anything you're doing, like work, any sport, any just really anything that you want to be successful. And I feel like you need to be like personally happy. And I think like it's huge. And that's why I'm huge on like now I'm really big on, sports psych and mentality and stuff. I think it's 90% of my sport. So what can I
that's
say? You know?
Well, while we're on that, so how much of what you do is kind of like the pure athletics and mechanics, and you as an athlete physically, and how much is it mental? What's the percentage breakdown?
For me, I think for training, it's like 70-30, 60-40 type stuff, right? Like when you're in training, that's when you break down, but you need to be mentally like ready to like have days and stuff. But I always say when it comes to competition, arguably it's 100% mental because you've done all the training. I'll say 90-10, because obviously you got to be there. But like to me, like when I show up, if I'm not mentally sound, I'm going to be able to do anything. All the things I've learned for like over a decade now, all the stuff I've done to get to this point. So for me in competition, it's like 95 because as long as a peer is ready, I can just execute the thing that I've been training over and over and over again for years.
That's cool. That is cool. What do you think about the men's shot put finals?
Oh, riveting. I mean, I watched ever since. So yeah, them falling kind of scared me a little, but it kind of like brought me back to when my very first US title, it was raining and somebody fell in warm-ups. And I remember looking at my coach and I said, I just won. And then people would be like, "Oh, how'd you know?" And I'd be like, "Cause I've trained in the rain and stuff, and like I know not to get like mentally bogged down by that kind of stuff." And I was talking to Chuck out in the village, and he kind of was saying like, "I'm really proud that I was able to fall, but then when like things were kind of back, I didn't like let up." And I was like, "Yeah, like that's like the biggest take you can take from those kind of things." But yeah, I'll leave it to Joe to do that on the last throw. It's circa Doha 2019 all over again, innit? I was like, yo,
I mean, I was holding my breath, right? I
it
mean,
was
that was
so much.
Yeah, it was one hour. Yeah, it was in the rain. I didn't understand why there was not a tarp over it, but that's a whole other
I
question.
just I felt the rings like because I think we have a ring similar at the HPC where we train. So I haven't been to the stadium, but I felt the rings and like when it started raining, I was like, "Oh, I felt that." And like I don't think these are going to be good in the rain. And I check the precipitation chance for our events every day and we're still at zero. So
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
yeah, hopefully it stays like that for women's shot cuz I'm not going to deal with it.
I mean, this is going to be such an exciting competition, and like one of the things that like I'm really obsessed with, and kind of keeps me like driving on what we're doing at World's Greatest is like how do you, as the elite athlete in this sport, and athletes in any event, how do you harness all that focus, all that talent, all that energy, all that drive and passion and skill for one moment on the biggest stage exactly when you need it? How do you do that?
um well, it's hard. So I think I it makes me think back to like Doha and I was like, you know, ranked number one. Like I hadn't lost to anybody but Gong really the whole season. Like, and then I got to the big stage, and there's nothing that, like, everyone should prep you for that feeling, but nothing prepares you for that feeling, you know. So I choked there, and I think I learned a lot from it, and I've since then I've really like honed in like my training to like prep me for anything in competition. Me and my coach, we often like try and push for things like distances and like different like bets and competitions, so that like I kind of can gain this confidence of like when I'm asked to do something, I do it. And so I think I built that confidence over. So when I've been to Eugene and Budapest and stuff, like I get there and I'm so confident, like being able to do it, that like it kind of helps me hone the nerves and the adrenaline successfully to like just keeping the technique and letting it carry me rather than letting it like break me down. And so I was talking to Michelle Carter, you know, and I said, I feel like I do good with pressure, but like, and she's like, yeah, I know the Olympics is different. Everyone will tell you that. Like, it's a different feeling when you get out there. She's like, but just like be confident that like that's going to carry through it. I'm like, yeah, um, hopefully I do. But like, that's kind of, I've built a lot of confidence in the past like month and a half training. I haven't competed, but I've just been training and training. And I've really like built myself up. I had really bad days, and I give myself a distance to hit. Like at the end of a bad session, look at my coach and be like, I got to throw this now to make the Olympic team, you know, and or to make the Olympic final. And then I do it. That confidence is like built. So I'm like on my bad days, I'm doing these things. So like I can do it when I'm prepped, ready, rested. Just do it, you know. But it
That's
takes time, a lot of
that's
time.
cool. No, that's cool. I mean, when we were talking to Mike Holloway, Grant Holloway's coach, he said he's like, I like to break down the athletes so when they're the most tired and they don't have anything in it, when they can still do it, you know. And he's like, Grant's an energy monster, you know. So
Hmm.
you break it down and break it down, and then he's like, when they can do it, then they know they can do it, you know,
Yeah.
in
That's
any condition.
100% right. I think when I first got here, I was struggling in the village, which is now I'm in a hotel now because I just like couldn't sleep. And so my first training session, I'd had like 2 hours of sleep. And the session was like fine. I was like, let's just focus on technique because I'm exhausted. And near the end, you know, Paul was like, you got to qualify right now. Like you have to, no fouls. You get two throws right now. You have to qualifying mark. And I'm like, okay, you know, like I guess, you know, and I did. I threw like 1950 or something, and I was, but I honed that, and so now I'm taking that into qualifying, going, I'm gonna be rested, like I'm gonna feel good, but if I'm not, I can still do it, and then if I am, I'm gonna go. I did this when I was on 2 hours sleep and felt like crap. Like get it done, you know.
Yeah,
So I there's nothing that builds confidence more than that.
absolutely. Again, we spent a lot of time with Ryan Krauser over the years and
Yeah,
shooting a lot of stuff with him, and he's like, my feeling is if you know, when you walk into that stadium and you know you've done all the work, you've put it all in, and you're honest with yourself, and you've done the work, there's kind of no nerve. Like he said, there's no nerves. There's no
yeah,
nervousness because there's obviously the energy of the stadium and all that, but he's like, there's no nerves. I've done all the work, so now I'm just gonna do my best and my, you know. And then like Shari Hawkins was saying, when you decide your best is good enough to be at the top of the podium, that's the difference,
yeah.
right? Which is
That's like I'm just trying to. I don't even feel like I felt more nervous like watching everybody than I feel for myself right now. And I think the most nervous I've ever felt with Olympic trials, which is why you kind of saw a bit of shakiness in my competition there. But, you know, before that, the round that I finally, you know, came out, I just went to my husband and I was like, I'm not doing this again. This is not a Tokyo situation. Like, it's not happening. Like, I'm not doing it, you know? And I went out there and I lined up and I just said, you're world champion. Like, wake up, like grow up, like just go. And then I did, and like I think since then I made the team, and like to me that was like my one hurdle. And now I'm like, I'm here. I've like I know it's the Olympics, it's not worlds, but like I've shown up on the biggest stages multiple times and beaten the same people and gone out there and beaten myself, like thrown further than I'd been in training. So I just got to do it, you know.
yeah. The and I just got a few more questions because I don't want to take too much of your time. Uh, the one thing that I really kind of appreciate and love about you is your individuality. You are who you are. You couldn't say, oh, there's another person just like Chase Jackson. You are who you are, and I love that. What kind of, like, we're going to have a young athlete, young shot putter. We're going to have her come on the show. She's in high school here in New York, and we're going to just have her give one question to you. But I was thinking of her uh, and kind of this embodying who you are essence. Is there something in there to give advice to young shot putters out there um, that kind of could make a little bit of a difference in their lives now?
Yeah, I think like for me, I even at the beginning my like shot putting and stuff, like even as a girl shot putter or like a girl athlete, like I was always tall and strong, and I kind of made myself smaller to kind of like fit. And
By the
I
way,
think
right there, you're 5'10", right?
yeah.
Right. So I love to know the height and weight of people, because it's like you don't when you meet when I met you, I'm like, oh my god, Chase is giant kid, which
Yeah,
is to
I'm
me is like,
taller.
right. So I'm sorry to interrupt, but I did want to kind of mention that to go, yeah, you're a tall woman out there doing
Yeah.
amazing things. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but I think I just because of that though, like you kind of even you're young, you feel like kind of out of whack because you're taller or stronger, and I think I always tried to make myself smaller to like fit into like the mold and try not to be as tall because girls aren't that tall and not to be as wide because girls aren't don't have broad shoulders, and I think like as I've gained confidence in myself and like being who I am, which is a lot of that's come from like being an athlete in sports, and I think having certain people to look up to, I now want to be that for people and girls, and just being tall is amazing. Like you're not the average person. Being strong is also amazing. Like, but and I think like people like Alona and me and other people in this trying to like show girls that like there's not just like you don't have to be this one shape or this to be an athlete or even to just like be happy. It's just become really important to me, but it took a lot like coming out of my shell and not being afraid to be big even with my personality. Like not you don't need to be quiet, you don't need to be soft, just be you and it took a lot of time, but I'm hoping that like people like us can help them realize like they can do it too.
And that's really inspiring to me. That's really, really inspiring.
Yeah.
And when we posted on TikTok, we posted with the hashtag women, and like you embody that, like
Yeah.
in every aspect of what you're saying, like your personality, your size, your strength, your competitive fire, by the
Yeah.
way, which you
Yeah.
can't be as good as you are without having that drive, passion, and fire within you.
Yeah.
I just have two more questions. One is, do you have any questions for me? That's one.
No.
All right. The other one is, what's the question that you haven't been asked that people should be asking you?
I don't know. I've been asked a lot of things. And here's my thing is that's a hard question for me because I feel like I'm pretty transparent. Like so like I pretty much talked about like everything. Like I'm not afraid. Like I want to be open. So I'd prefer, if people just had questions, just ask me and I'll I'll answer whatever. I feel like if I'm not asked things that I want to talk about, I've talked about them.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of like my personality now, though. Like, I want to be transparent, though. I think it's important about
Just
everything,
just
you
say
know?
it. So have you seen our series One on One where athletes interview themselves? Have you seen that one?
No.
It's so funny, dude. You have to
Is
see it.
it?
Oh yeah, we just so Peyton ordered out. So we want to get
Oh,
Peyton
he's
on.
good.
We want to
He's
get
so
him.
funny.
He's so funny. He's so
He's
funny.
so funny.
So we shoot the athlete one way, but we're asking the questions. We shoot them the other way. We're giving the answers that they gave us, and so and then we edit it together to make it fun. But Peyton was
Yeah.
hilarious,
I
and
don't doubt that.
we just posted one. Well, a couple days ago, Shamir Little on TikTok, and then we just did one with Fred Curley. That's up now. It's like it just gives you to show your personality. I think a lot of times,
Yeah.
we're producing content with intention, right? So our superhuman stories is like these short documentaries, but the one-on-one series is there to show your personality side, right? Because you guys
Yeah.
are not robots. Our
No,
tagline our tagline is from super to human, and it's we all know you're super amazing athletes, but
yeah.
there's a human side that I think that we always want to show, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's just like hard, I think, sometimes because I think people mainly see, you know, just sporting side of us. And like even in what we post is us training or like we won something or we did something. But sometimes I think we forget to like hop on the story and be like, hey, I'm normal. And so sometimes people I think can be surprised by that as well.
so here's a normal question. So what do you eat for breakfast? When you wake up today, what did you have for breakfast?
I had a bagel with cream cheese and coffee.
All right.
I'm not big on breakfast. Um, but I always try and drink a protein shake at breakfast time so I can get protein because my husband forces me to because he's also my strength trainer. So you
By the
can't
way,
lift, you can't recover without protein. Me. He's British though, so I don't know why I made him sound like that.
I want to hear your British accent, you imitating him.
Okay. If you don't eat your protein, you're not going to recover.
That's slander.
We heard that.
The look he was just giving me, he was like, that is not what he sounds like
Oh.
at all. He's not from Essex. Essex. Yeah.
Chase, this is so fun. We gotta have you back on after you bring home some hardware in a few days. Um,
Totally.
I'm so excited to watch compete. It's always like a joy. Like, look at that smile. Like, it's so fun to see you, to hear you, to get some insights. Um, so just best of luck in the next few days,
Thanks.
and maybe we can hop back on the weekend.
Yeah, totally. You'll have to talk to my publicist.
I know. Yeah, he's tough.
I know he can be a little annoying.
I won't say that.
He's lovely.
He's lovely. He's lovely. He responds. So I've been staying up until 3:30, 4 in the morning. So I'm getting on your schedule. So
Oh yeah.
he's been
I totally forgot
amazing.
about that.
Yeah, he's been amazing getting back to me on getting you on here. And I appreciate it too. Like I know
Well,
you're.
that's what I pay him for.
Don't pay me.
We share a bank account. It's the same.
It's so
Don't
funny.
work with your husband. I'm telling ladies. I'm just kidding. We need an HR department, I think.
H. Is there going to be a claim filed into the HR department?
There might be.
You're an idiot.
Don't harass me. This is a workplace right now. I'm doing business things. Rick.
This is the good
This is my
stuff.
life.
This is the good stuff. No, we're chopping
Uh,
this stuff up and putting it on TikTok like immediately.
oh great. Honey, you're gonna be famous.
All right, Chase.
uh,
Thank you so
thanks.
much. Again, have a great competition, and we'll see you afterwards.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.